You ever notice how some HOA presidents act like they're running the Pentagon instead of a neighborhood with picket fences? That was Karen, clipboard in hand, whistle dangling around her neck, marching down the street like a general inspecting her troops. She even wore a little visor hat, like she was heading out to coach a golf tournament instead of terrorize her neighbors. Now, let me back up. I've always loved fresh eggs. My grandmother had chickens, so when I finally bought a house with a decent yard, I thought, why not? Just 6 hens, a modest little coop tucked neatly behind the garage, barely visible even if you were snooping. They weren't noisy, they weren't messy. If anything, they were more polite than some of the barking dogs in the neighborhood. For 6 months, not a peep from anyone. My kids adored gathering eggs in the morning before school. We'd make scrambled eggs, pancakes, even the occasional fresh pasta. Neighbors waved as they walked by. Life was quiet, peaceful. And then, Karen discovered the coop. I was out, pulling weeds when she strutted up the driveway like she owned the deed to my property. No, hello, no, how's it going? She just barked. Chickens are not allowed in this community. You have 72 hours to remove them or face fines of $250 per day. I blinked. What? She shoved a crumpled copy of the HOA bylaws at me like it was scripture. Section 14, subsection C, no livestock. I laughed. Karen, they're 6 hens, not cattle. They don't even moo. My rooster alarm clock is quieter than your lawnmower. She didn't laugh. Instead, she scribbled furiously in her little violation book, muttering something about escalating penalties. Most people would have panicked. Me? I got curious. That night, I dug out my own copy of the bylaws. And guess what? Section 14C didn't even exist in the official book. Karen had photocopied a draft version from years ago, one that never got approved. She was enforcing rules out of thin air. The next morning, things escalated. I woke up to bright orange violation notice stickers plastered on my mailbox. Trash bins, even my front door like I was some kind of fugitive. She even put one on my kid's basketball hoop. I peeled them off one by one, sipped my coffee, and smiled. Because if Karen wanted war, she was about to get one. That night, I caught her standing inside my backyard with a flashlight, inspecting the coop like she was doing a police raid. My motion light flipped on, and she froze like a raccoon caught in a trash can. I stepped outside. Enjoying the show? She stammered. I was just checking for code violations. On my property? That's trespassing, Karen. She turned pale and scurried off, muttering about higher authorities. And that's when I realized this wasn't about chickens. This was about control. And if she thought she could bully me, she had just picked the wrong neighbor. Because those 6 little hens, they were about to spark the biggest HOA battle this neighborhood had ever seen. The very next morning, I drove to City Hall. Spent 2 hours digging through zoning laws, animal control ordinances, and dusty county binders. And guess what? Our county classified chickens as domestic pets, not livestock, as long as you had fewer than 10. That's right. My 6 hens were as legal as someone else's golden retriever. But instead of using that card right away, I played the long game. Every bogus violation Karen slapped on me, I kept it, filed neatly in a folder labeled Evidence Exhibit A. Meanwhile, my hens were thriving. And here's where it gets funny. My neighbor Sarah came over one Saturday and asked if she could buy a dozen eggs. I gave her some. Then Tom from across the street wanted a carton, then the Johnsons. Before I knew it, my 6 hens had turned into the Willowbrook Egg Co-op. I was supplying half the block. And the cherry on top? Karen's own husband started sneaking over early mornings to buy eggs in cash. He literally whispered, "Don't tell my wife, but these are better than anything at the grocery store." Oh, the irony. Of course, Karen eventually lost it. She called an emergency HOA meeting, packed with half the neighborhood. She stormed the podium like a dictator, waving her clipboard like a sword. This man is running a farm. He is destroying our community standards. If we don't stop this, the neighborhood will turn into a barnyard. I calmly stood, walked to the front, and laid out my folder on the table. Her fake violation slips, county zoning laws, and the official document declaring chickens domestic pets. According to the law, I said, my hens are no different from your neighbor's cat, which makes every single fine you issued invalid. Silence. Then Sarah piped up, also his eggs are incredible. The room erupted in laughter. Karen turned beet red. This is outrageous. He's selling eggs out of his garage. That's when Tom stood up. Actually, cottage food laws say he can sell small quantities directly to consumers. Perfectly legal. Boom. Karen was finished. The board voted, and for the first time ever, the entire room sided against her. She stormed out, humiliated. From that day on, she never mentioned my chickens again. But the story doesn't end there. The HOA, seeing how much the neighborhood loved the eggs, actually loosened the rules on pets. Now, 3 other families have their own small flocks. On Saturdays, we host a mini farmer's market right on my driveway. Kids laugh, neighbors chat, and cartons of eggs trade hands like hotcakes. And Karen, she walks by every time, scowling, pretending not to notice. The funniest part? She's the only one on the block still buying store eggs. So yeah, Karen may have started the fight, but the chickens, they won the war. And every omelet I eat is a reminder. Sometimes the best revenge comes sunny side up.